For magic power for an individual, you're going to start with 2 elements, 1 trait, and 1 texture. The first element answers the question, what's the function of the magic? The second is for the fuel. The trait is a side effect of the magic, and then the texture is what the magic feels like. So this is going to be a magical power for a girl in what I'm assuming is a young adult story. So the function of the magic is light. This is the life-giving result of decay or transformation, often used as a symbol for understanding, purity, or sustainable rest. All light creates heat. For the fuel, we have ivory. Animal parts harvested for non-food purposes. Usually the animal dies in order to harvest the material. So the first card, it's not anything you haven't seen before. The second card is where it gets really juicy. What if you had this magical power where you can make light, very basic magical power, but at the cost of turning this super powered person into like a poacher? Like, that's a fascinating trade-off. And I know this is for young adult, this is for a girl main character, and probably means you have girl readers. It's almost really easy to talk down to that audience, but that is an audience that is specifically like right on the verge of waking up. They're in between childhood and adulthood, and they're starting to see some of the difficulties of the world and make decisions about where they want to be in that grander scheme of things. So I think this is, although this is dark and it's kind of heavy for what you'd think this audience can handle, I think it's really delicious. I think it's a great dilemma. You don't have to take that card at face value, but the underlying principle is that the cost is something unethical, and it's something that harms probably a non-human species. For our side effect, we have unhesitating, willing to do what other people aren't, not held back or slowed down by discomfort, fear, uncertainty, or setbacks. And for what the magic feels like, posture. The unfakeable impact of long-term maintenance, burdens, shortcuts, and habits. External clues of self-image. Affects what others believe you truly are despite contrary evidence. So the posture here, that can go either way. It can be like posture where you're not feeling good, or a posture like bold and proud. So every card, there's a positive and a negative side that you can take. So if you have a particular direction you're wanting to take it, and the card strikes you as negative where you want to pull a more positive angle, just look at the positive angle of that card and, fit it to the story that you want to tell. Now, these are randomly drawn, and every time we do a drawing, when we're testing the cards, we always stop and ask, would this drawing recipe work with every card that might come up? So we have 2 elements here, but what if they came up in the opposite order? What if the function card, you got ivory, and the cost, you got light? This creates a very different magic, but it's still useful. For ivory, you could have a creation power where you can create rare and unusual materials that are otherwise unethically attainable. But what if you had that awesome power at the cost of sucking light out of the room? So this is a fascinating and interesting power, but if it makes you live in the dark all the time, that's quite the cost. I'm sure you're getting some interesting ideas here, but that's how you do a quick drawing for a magic power for an individual. It's 2 elements, 1 trait, 1 texture.